What is going on, all-terrain nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these bad mother effer Fords that we all like to drive, this is your all-terrain nation presented by White Knuckle Off-Road Products. If you need some rock sliders out there, you go give White Knuckle a shot at your business. All they ask is go check out their website, and if you like their product, they're pretty sure and confident that you will buy it. And their prices are pretty hard to beat. And the quality that you get, I swear to God, I say it, and well, I guess they have paid me somewhat to say it, but I would say it anyways. They are bad mother effers, and I love their products. And me and Kelly have used them for probably 10 plus years. So that should say you used them on multiple projects. So go over there and check them out. And speaking of checking out, we've got Miss Allie D here in the show, and Allie's over there. She's doing craft projects or something over there. I don't know what you're doing, Allie.
We're working on secret stuff.
Oh, secret stuff. Well, it is getting, I hate to say Christmas time because we haven't had Thanksgiving yet, but
there's people who's already decorated for Christmas like before Halloween.
Really? You guys, I give okay, it's cold. You know, who wants to do that when it gets really cold? But no, man, if I saw my neighbors do that around here, I think I'd yell at them. No. Hey, man, let's get Thanksgiving going first.
I agree.
How is Allie today, man? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. I'm good. Maya's good.
Good.
Just a typical Monday.
The whole damn house is good. And speaking of good,
not exactly, but we'll work on that later.
Oh well, it's probably after hours. Jordan will pop in and we'll solve these problems, huh? But so how's the dealership thing going? Everything going? The strike's over. Everybody seems to be happy now. They're all patting each other on the back. I'm assuming orders can start going through, and you probably start seeing VINs soon again. What's going on?
I hope so. I think we're going to start seeing VINs in the next week or two again as they start getting back to a normal schedule. I'm sure with them, again, I don't work at the plant. I can't speak for the plant. But I'm sure since everyone left, I'm sure they have making up to do. I'm sure they have a couple cars they got to get through to get back to normal before they start building like customer units again. But I think it should be good. Hopefully everyone's happy and they'll build the cars right and we'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully we get quality where it should be and everybody once again is happy because quality, you know, that's one of those things.
That's that's truly my biggest hype is quality. Yeah. Like y'all got your raise, you guys got all that. Okay. Make sure the stuff is right before we get it.
Right. And I seen sales figures for Bronco. How many they actually produced last month was like 80. So they've got some catching up to do. And I've been watching the Ranger community. Jeez, man. Ranger guys have no clue of so Ranger's odd to me because it's not really an enthusiast truck. We have the Raptor version that is an enthusiast truck, but the normal Ranger guy, man, they acting like they should have had their truck 6 months ago. And you're like, look, dude, you ain't seen nothing yet, man.
I'm like, I told a guy the other day, I'm like, buckle up. Cause honestly, I'm like, if you're in the position to wait, you're going to have to wait it out because I can't even remember the last time I actually sold a Ranger on the lot. It was definitely spring. I actually have to look that up, but
because the problem with Ford was, so they started killing it off. I think June when they quit actually building the last generation. And and with anticipations of getting these trucks rolling by early fall, late summer, fall. And now we've got what we got going on.
Yeah.
So what a mess.
Crazy.
What a mess. Well, we got a good show tonight. We've got Mr. Eville Truck. We got Bill on here, and we're gonna talk about Bill. And I'm curious to what got him into this because I know he's had some different trucks. He's had some F series. I know he had an FJ at one time. So I'm like, hey, I want to see what brought him to the old Bronco. And we also have this guy, this bearded stranger. What's up, Mr. Mark?
What's going on, everybody?
I figured since you were such an internet sensation on Instagram, we better include you in this week's show.
Oh, it's just terrible, man. My little at Bronco, was breaking things the other day. So,
You're never gonna say it right, man. It's the AT-AT, man.
Look at the conical pronunciation. They tell you it's like hat, man. It's at all day.
I know. I don't want to piss the Star Wars fans we might have off there because that's a line drawn in the sand. But Mark, how is things going, man? I seen you got to go. You were a week after me in Indiana, I believe, and you went up there with Unbridled Bronco and a few others and got to go wheeling up there. How was that trip?
I did actually linked up with old Evil himself up there and Matt and a few others, and it was great. Didn't have the rain that you had, but had some nice after effects. Totally mudded out the Bronco. Yeah. And that was really just from the little drag strip on their little race circuit. We were lining them up and running through. So it wasn't that we were splashing through heavy mud puddles where there was concerns about like big rocks. It was just a really nice shallow mud puddle that threw a nice spray. But I agreed with you. I thought Badlands was great. Stayed in a really kitschy, sketchy hotel up there that Kelly didn't want to stay into, but it was nice. It was very dated, but very clean. It was a great little hotel.
That area,
they for sure really push.
Well, that area trips me out because the park, you can tell the park is a big part of the town. Like you can tell that feeds because they have those little off-road shops down there by that McDonald's and stuff. And then nowhere really to stay besides the off-road park. And now it looks like they have some nice cabins, but they were a little pricey if I remember right. But past that, nowhere really else to stay. But
there's nothing. I think the closest was 30 or 40 minutes away for like a legitimate like quality inn or hotel type thing. But the park was great. It was well maintained, lots of great trails. And there was a nice variety. I mean, they had dunes and sand, they had rock crawling, they had stream trails and mud and stuff like that, the racetrack. So really had something for everybody that was going out there.
Though my only issue was anytime I wanted to get into like the sand, there was always some little kid on a dirt bike or something. I was like, well, I'm not taking a chance. So I'll just chill out and I get to kind of dune it around and have some fun. But that was my only problem with it. I liked the park. I thought the campground itself was really nice. And so we might as well bring out since you were all together, we'll just bring in Mr. Eville Truck himself. Bill, what's going on, buddy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, Mark said your truck couldn't handle Badlands. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely true.
I think Bill didn't we use Bill's to pull somebody out of Badlands? I'm pretty sure he was the tow vehicle.
Yes, somebody did have some power issues and had to be towed out of there. So,
well, I can only imagine with all the mud and stuff I saw. I did warn Mark. I was like, you better clean your alternator out before you head home because it's liable to end its life if you don't.
Yeah. Well, amazingly, it wasn't an alternator problem. It was a loose ground.
Oh, well, that's
the starter.
Can be aggravating to find those, but
I found it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome on the show, Kelly. Everybody, Kelly will be here soon. I promise. She had a softball meeting of some sort because she does that stuff, and so yeah, not going to piss her off and tell her she had to be here because, well, you see the title, Marital Nation.
Marital Nation.
There'll be more to come in on that here. But so Bill, you kind of caught my attention. I was mentioning this a little bit ago before we started this. You caught my attention because you were one of the first ones. I believe you have a Badlands, right? Or not a Badlands. You have a Black Diamond, if I remember right.
Black Diamond, yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, that's what I'd had on order. So any Black Diamond info at the time I could kind of pay attention to. I was like, all right, I got to follow these guys. And initially you had some issues. I mean, everybody, the first batch, there were little quirks. There were some things that had to be looked at, but you caught my attention with some 4-wheel drive issues initially. What was, I guess let's start from the beginning. You scratch that. I'm horrible with this. I'm hopped up on Monster right now, guys. What made you buy Bronco? Cause I know you had some FJ stuff and you've been all over the map a little bit. What led you to Bronco?
Well, I had an older Bronco. I didn't have an early Bronco, but I had it was an 80s Bronco that I loved. I couldn't keep it any longer. I tried working on it, but like the body mounts were great, but there was no body left for them to mount to. So I eventually had to get rid of that. And then I saw, the announcement that Ford's coming out with the new Bronco, and I'm like, oh, absolutely, I'm ordering this. So first day order banks open and it's like, oh, Wild Track. That's obviously the thing I want to get from that initial announcement. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, after some time passed, I'm like, no, the wall track's not what I want. And I'm like, I'm just going to order the base because I know myself. I know I'm going to work on it. I know I'm going to add stuff to it. So what's the point in buying any of this extra stuff if I'm just going to replace it anyway?
Right.
But at the time it was 21 when the order banks finally opened. It's like, well, if you want washout interior, the first level you can get is black diamond, and I wanted the cyber orange. For only level at the time you could get that was black diamond. So I was like, well, it looks like I'm getting black diamond then. And so
yeah. Well, they weren't clear. We've mentioned this many times. When Ford dropped this, they really weren't clear with what model really was what. Because I initially ordered a 2-door Badlands, just non-Sasquatch, and then I was talked out of a 2-door, and so I went black diamond. I was like, okay, because price. We started by December. We kind of had an idea what pricing was going to be, and I was like, well, Kelly's already going to kill me for ordering this thing, so I probably should go smart. We'll just go down. I'll get Sasquatch with the black diamond, but then ended up, long story, we got what we got. But it was kind of crazy that, like I said, nobody knew what you were getting. And so what made you, was it the locker? What was it, the final decision for you?
It was the fact that I could get the washout interior. that was like my bare minimum. Like I would have gotten the base if the base had washout interiors, which it still blew my mind that you couldn't get that on a base model. It's like,
that's one thing I think.
I come from the truck world where base model means that's the interior that you get.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a couple things I feel like Ford approached this with, of not really knowing what people are going to do with these things.
Yeah.
And interior was one of those for me. I'm just like, I don't know what the marine grade vinyl stuff is cool, but past that, I'm like, I don't understand. Like Wild Track, they sold it as a sand runner, and then you give them carpet
in it. Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. I'm not crapping on your Wild Track, but
it's all good. I'm still vacuuming dirt out from 2 drives. I think I still have sand in it from when we went to Windrock, and I was eating all that dust. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure I still have sand from Bronco Takeover at the sand dunes, and that was back in August. So, and I have washout floors.
Yep. Mine. I clean the outside, and then just the inside. I'm just like, there's no use anymore, man. Just leave it. Kind of wipe the seats down. So if we do have to go somewhere nice, like you're not filthy, but past that, I'm like, I don't care anymore. But so where, Bill, you got yours pretty early, right?
Yes, I got very lucky. I was watching the tracker when everybody's saying that. Well, first is like watching the news and everything. It's like, oh, well, I'm not even going to get a chance to order this forever because the initial delays and everything. That you mentioned, I had the FJ Cruiser. I went out and bought that. I was like, yeah, it's going to be years before I ever get a Bronco. So I went out and bought that. And like a week later, the salesperson called them up. They're like, hey, you just bought that FJ, right? They're like, yeah, you can come in and place your order for your Bronco now. I was like, of course.
Well, luckily the FJ, you should have done well with it anyways. It should have held its value to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I basically had that for six to 9 months, basically for free, in the long run of things. But then, yeah, so then following the order tracker and everything, and it's like, as right before Ice Mountain happened and all the initial issues with the hard tops came out, and mine was supposedly held up in that. And then the dealership called and they're like, hey, your Bronco's here. Like, what? Okay.
Those
and
are
then
the calls
like,
that we love to make, though.
And they're
What's
like,
that, Allie?
I said those are the calls we love to make, though.
Yeah. They're like, it's here. I'm like, okay, can I come get it? And they're like, well, we got to do PDI on it. And during the inspection, they found issues with the roof. And they're like, there's issues with the top and everything. So we're waiting to hear from Ford what we have to do about that. And so they still, even after it showed up, they held on to it for like a week of me coming down there and knocking on their door. Can I take it home now? Can I take it home now?
Yeah, because
they're like, yeah, Ford just said we may have to. We'll put a new top on order for you, and when it comes in, we'll replace it. And so I got to finally get it.
What a crazy time though, because the hype initially, man, the hype by June or so when they started building them and actually releasing them, man, the hype was crazy. The forums were going nuts. People just looking for information. Why didn't mine get picked? And you're like, look, man, it's kind of random. It's not.
Really
they don't
is.
hate you,
Yeah.
but yeah. So you started
a-
taking your. Go ahead, Bill.
I would say I got a lot of hate too because I had a YouTube channel at the time. I had 1,000 subscribers maybe, and they're like, "Oh, well, the YouTuber got his." Like,
I remember that.
A YouTuber. I'm a person that happens to have a YouTube channel. They did not.
I'm not rolling in millions.
I'm an influencer, and I didn't get a Bronco for that.
Right. But so you took yours out pretty early on, and that's when you had an initial issue with what the 4-wheel drive wasn't disconnecting or connecting.
It just completely dropped out of 4-wheel drive. So I went to the local park here at Interlake. It's a fun little area. It's not too big. It's not too technical. And the first hill I went up, use goat mode, turn on mud rut, and start going up. And I'm going up, and then all of a sudden, my back wheel spun a little bit, and then it just kicked it. If you've been in your Bronco and you've seen all the alerts go off for whatever reason, you understand what that sounds like and looks like on your cluster. It's just like, what is going on here? Because bells and flashing lights and everything. I'm like, what is going on here? It's like, going off, and then I tried to go, and I was like, not going anywhere. And 4-wheel tried changing goat modes and everything, and it just would not engage in 4-wheel drive. So I'm just like, I broke
Nothing
it.
like a 40 to.
I'm like, it's just going up a hill. I was not doing anything extreme or anything.
Yeah, well, it's nothing like a $40,000 to $50,000 vehicle, and suddenly it's can't actually do what it's supposed to do real quick. That's confidence building, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I had even for a week at this point. I was like, oh man, this is horrible. These things suck. What is this? But I managed to get off to flat ground, put it in 2-wheel drive, and it drove. Once I got the flat land, I turned it off, turned it back on. All the warnings, all the lights were gone. It's shifted back into 4-wheel drive. I'm like, okay, well, I think I'm done for today, and I'm going to take it to the dealership.
Right.
And yeah, they had it. They looked at it. They're like, yeah, we're not really. You have a standing appointment here. If it happens again, don't turn it off. Come in, show us the errors as they're happening. Don't turn anything off. Just drive straight here. Like, all right. And never had an issue again. They sent the logs to the Ford engineers, and they said it was like, since the locker was on, one wheel still spun when both wheels should be turning. So that threw all the computers off, like the one wheel spinning a little bit.
So was it maybe the locker just never fully engaged?
Yeah, I'm assuming because it had one wheel turn, but while the lockers were on. So it's like, whoa, something's wrong here, and the computers went crazy.
Well, I know Jody in the chat, Bird Dog. I know he had. I assume Jody finally got his locker fixed in the rear, but his came from the factory not working, like issues and trying to get parts and such. But so where after that that's a little bit of notoriety, honestly, in the Bronco community because people were wanting to know. There was some doubt. Most people didn't get to see these things before you ordered them. And there's nothing like ordering like I said, $30,000 to $60,000 vehicle, never seeing it, and then seeing people having issues with it. But you just kept on, and the next thing I know, SEMA's calling. Of course, SEMA for 21, I had dubbed it at the time the year of the Bronco because the manufacturers, they all had ideas of what they wanted to do with it, but as far as nobody could get their hands on one, was that a right place, right time for you to get your truck at SEMA, or what was with that?
Yeah, right place, right time. I didn't have to do a huge elaborate build. So it was like, yeah, I don't mind doing a show, doing it up for show, but I also wanted it to be practical. I still wanted to be able to off-road it and everything. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. And the company I worked with Bodyguard, I still have their bumpers.
Out of Texas, if I remember right.
What's that?
Are they out of Texas, I believe?
Yes, out of Texas, Paris, Texas. But yeah, their stuff is great. I still have it on. Like some of the stuff that I put on for SEMA, as soon as SEMA was over, like I had contractual obligations for a year for some of the stuff that I had to keep on. There's Matt. And you know, like after the year was out, I like took most of the stuff off. The bodyguard stuff I left on absolutely because I love all their bumpers and everything.
So they, I'm assuming there's some phone calls, emails, and that you guys agree to terms on what you want to do. But so then you install this? Obviously, you're making videos as well and some of this stuff. Do they pick the vehicle up? Do you ship it out? Did you drive it out? How did that go?
Well, I was supposed to ship it out, but it was if you ever see people like on YouTube like, oh, it's SEMA crunch time and trying to get this and that. It was hard enough getting parts for the Bronco as it was because it's a brand new vehicle. It was also SEMA time, so trying to get everything. I was originally supposed to have. Can't think of the company now. Nitto tires and the JTX wheels that I had for the show. The wheels were. I was waiting for the wheels to show up, waiting for the tires to show up. They kept getting delayed, so I was like, I missed my opportunity to get on the transport. So I was like, oh well, I got to drive out there. Then last minute, Nitto still didn't get the tires out, and Versa tires like, oh, we can get them, but we can ship them to Vegas for you. Pick them up there, so I had to throw extra stuff in the Bronco and drive out there, pick up the tires there, and then find a shop locally that could mount everything because I had a Bronco full of tires and wheels.
Right.
So
no, I'm sure that's a common story for Vegas tire changers too. It's like, oh, it's SEMA time. What's coming through the door today?
Oh yeah, that's a whole like car washing there and everything. People that take care of your cars, it's a whole racket there for SEMA time. There's people that's they make enough money during SEMA that they probably don't have to do anything for the rest of the year.
So you were walking around SEMA then, right? So you could see everything. What was that your first SEMA? What was your impressions?
Yes, I was surprised by some of the build qualities there. You see pictures, you see all these glamorous, these big, huge trucks and everything, and then you kind of look at them up close, and you're like, oh, now I see why they're taking pictures from a few steps back.
Yep. There was one at Ford's booth when I was covering the Jay Leno stuff, and of course, I can't think of the suspension company right now. They did the little fire truck, but there was one next to that. And I'm friends with the lady that built it, but man, I looked at it and I was like, this looks like somebody last minute welded some stuff together and just, and it's everything you think it'll be, like trucks with 21. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of mall crawlers, it seemed like, because that was coming out of COVID, and so some of those guys weren't there just yet. But yeah, I remember seeing trucks with no drive shafts at all. You're like, what's the point of this, man? But it seems fun, but it will break your heart.
Yes. And it was fun. I'm glad I did it. It's like, oh, cool. I did that. That's something I could say I've done. I'm not in a rush to ever do it again.
Well, let's see.
And I wouldn't mind going back as just a spectator, just walking around, meeting people. That part's awesome. As far as getting in a vehicle there, I'm not in a big rush to ever do that again.
Well, hopefully you guys can hear. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
My camera's acting wonky tonight for some reason. Allie, Mark, jump in on this. I'm gonna try to solve this problem real quick.
So what was your
I didn't see a lot from this.
Getting your Bronco to SEMA?
Actually just getting all the parts ready and getting everything installed before. It's like, oh, this is exciting. Every day it's like, oh, I got a new toy. I got to go put this on.
It's
Like,
like
oh, I
Christmas
got new
every single
parts. Let me
day.
go put these on. It was a lot of long days leading up to it, but that part was kind of awesome. Like I like building, doing stuff with my hands, so doing that was pretty fun. Then the actual logistics of getting there and being there and everything, that was like, okay, I'm done. I'll build anybody a SEMA truck if they want to, and then they can go take it.
Mark, what were you saying?
I'll just say, like that year that Bill was in it, like I think there was a lot more of just normal builds that year as opposed to like what I was seeing out of SEMA this year with acrylic wheels and just some of the really off the wall builds that everyone had going on.
Yeah, a lot of that year it was because they were brand new and it was just companies coming out. The first set of lifts were just becoming available. Like Icon, Vehicle Dynamics had the big kit that year, and it was just pretty mild. A lot of overland stuff, not anything too showy, not too crazy. Nobody with 30-inch rims or anything like that.
I definitely saw some crazy builds this year. And like you said, I think a lot of it had to do with because these were so late to get out to the public, nobody could physically get their hands on them to even start making accessories for these things.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Nice bird dog. Oh, awkward.
That's why it's marital nation. Oh, look, there he is. Look at him.
Oh, this is awkward.
Y'all were talking shit. I heard you. No.
No. Jody said $10. Kelly unplugged your camera.
No, but I did hear it pull up. So.
Oh boy. In the Mustang or the Bronco?
Oh, the Bronco. The Mustang's really mine anymore. Like she keeps away from that.
That's funny.
I know, it's funny. I order me a Bronco and she takes it, and I order her a Mustang and it's mine. So after SEMA, I was surprised that you really didn't do like every other person does. It seems like every SEMA build's like, oh yeah, this is $100,000 Bronco now. Who wants it?
Yeah, no, I didn't get it to sell it. I could have, but I wanted to keep. At the time, nobody was able to get a Bronco, so I was like, no, I'm not getting rid of this.
Was that something that manufacturers there, were they coming up to people? Because I know there was a lot of manufacturers that wanted Broncos that just, even for that time, could not get their hands on it. Was that something they approached you about buying them?
I had a couple people. I don't know if they were from a manufacturer or not, make offers on it. But yeah, I was like, yeah, no, you have to increase that by a whole lot because I don't want to get rid of it.
So they were being cheap, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I get that side of it.
Yeah, I mean, anything's for sale for the right price probably, but nobody came to me and was like, hey, would you take something that even made me think twice about it? I'm like, no, that's mine. I just got it. I just built it. I want to go enjoy it. Right.
And enjoy it you did, because I've got to bring this up. I told you I was going to do this. Which I have to say at some point, and I told you earlier, I was a little jealous that I was like, man, this guy's out there effing up this poor Bronco. But it was mostly jealousy because I didn't have one, And I think that was the whole internet's thing, was like they were all kind of really pissy that man, this guy went out there and broke this. But I want to show this. So let's see. So this was how long after SEMA was this video?
Probably about a month.
I was gonna say I remember it was pretty close.
I was gonna say 12 hours after he left.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks because, after SEMA, I drove back. So that was, 2 days driving back. And I probably didn't want to get in it for another couple of weeks after that. So it was probably about 3 weeks to a month later.
Right. And it looks like a muddy mess. Where was this at exactly?
This is Interlake.
Okay.
So it's in Linville in Indiana.
So for your Bronco, it seems like a bad place for your Bronco to hang out.
I've had some success there. This was not one of those cases.
Right. So what was this kind of a, and I don't mean this to be an asshole, but was this a show off moment or what was going on here? Because you hit this, I'll play it in just a second, but you hit this hole pretty hard.
Yeah. We were there. There's this other guy that had this really big built Jeep. He was on 40s. He was zooming through there, and we were sitting there looking at it like, I wonder if we could get through there. And he's like, well, if you hit this middle one, hit it with some speed, you'll be fine. You'll be able to get through that. So I was like, all right, I'll hit it with some speed. What you can't tell is like if it's all flat and kind of grassy there, and then the pits drop down. So as I was approaching it, I thought I was coming straight onto it. And as I got a little bit closer, I realized, oh, it's further to the left. So then I had to try to go swerve over to come into it straight. And that, bad situation where I didn't hit it straight and I hit it way too fast.
Right. And we'll play this real clip. Oh. So at that point, I'm assuming you're like, yeah, like this, I'm gonna have to be pulled out. You probably didn't think you broke though, right?
Yeah, I didn't. I thought, yeah, that's not good. I was surprised the airbags didn't go off because it jolted me pretty good. I was like, something broke. Then it sat there for a second, like, okay, it's running. I'm good. That was broken, and tried to get out of it. And if you let it play with a little sound from that point, you can hear that it didn't want to go any further.
Yeah, you can see the front wheel just locks up there, and I'm assuming that's where the
the other tire is just buried into the bank, the side of that.
Did you break a tie rod there too, or?
No, amazingly, did not break a tie rod there.
Wow. Because that's what coming in that side impact, you would have thought, okay, you broke a tie rod. Front.
I assumed that I did because it made a whole lot of noise.
I mean, it kind of looked like you broke one, but
yeah. And then start trying to get through it, and it just starts clicking and cranking and grinding and stuff. Like, yeah, let's get the winch out.
But so the worst thing was, and I remember, you were pretty open about, I'm poking at you for that break there, but you were pretty open about like after you broke, all the problems. Of course, this little clip, you were at SEMA, and then it was SEMA build brakes. I started seeing little clips of that everywhere. Every Jeep group that could find, you're like, yeah, look, this just means the Broncos are junk, this and that. Like, no, dude, the dude basically took a side impact. Like that was almost like a side collision. And, and I'm assuming it just caused all that energy to bind right through the center of that diff. And just, what was it? Was the gear shredded? What happened when it broke?
Yeah, the front drive unit, the gear is completely shredded. I opened it up and it was just chunks of metal and just dust and everything just came out of there.
Yeah. And of course, then it's getting parts. I mean, I'm assuming you were towed home.
No, I drove home.
Really?
Yeah, put it back once we got back up on the road, put it in 2-wheel drive. So the front drive wasn't engaged anymore, and it drove perfect.
Huh. Well, there you go. But this was a time, because I remember then like the search for you to find a diff, and Ford, forgive that, like you weren't going to find one there, right?
Yeah. They had none on the shelf. They had some 210s on the shelf, but not any of the M190s, which I had with the Black Diamond. Mm-hmm. I just so happened to get very, very lucky. Mud Digger Off-Road were doing their build. They did that big snow camo build with the solid axle swap from a Big Bend. And I was like, oh, it's a Big Bend, it's not going to match, but it was a manual. So the gear ratios ended up matching. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing a solid axle swap. I don't need these parts. And I'm like, I'm driving out there now. He's like, I was like, I'm not even going to ask you to ship anything. If you let me have it, I will drive out there. And it's like that. It was in the middle of the week, that Saturday morning. I was like, honey, I'm driving to North Carolina to go pick up car parts.
Well, so it was after you got it all put back together. Was there any issues, any programming or anything you had to do with that?
No, there's one issue because when I got there, like I said, he had the front end completely out. He had no use for it. So I was like, oh, well, do you need these extra tie rods? Do you need these extra axles? Do you need any of this? He's like, no, make me an offer. So I grabbed all of that. And I was like, I probably screwed up my steering rack. So I'll go ahead and since I got his steering rack, I'll put that in. And that threw errors constantly. Because, and then turns out there's like a sequence that you need to do if you want to change out your rack, where you have to get FDRS or whatever it is. Allie probably knows whatever the Ford technician software is.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to get that. You have to tell it that you're going to change the rack, then change the rack, then get the software hooked up again, say, this is the new rack. It's like this whole sequence that you have to go through.
It's a pain in the butt.
And I could never, what's that?
I said it's a pain in the butt, honestly.
Yeah. So I gave up on that and I just like inspected the rack that I took out and was like, yeah, it's perfectly fine to put that back in, the original one back in. So I didn't have to deal with those errors anymore.
Well, past that, man, I've watched your channel, and of course, you're not a little 1,000K, big YouTuber. You're multi-thousand subscribers now. So I'm assuming that everybody's just super jealous now. Like all these parts are being thrown your way, but in reality, I'm assuming you're buying all this stuff and testing it yourself. And you and Matt, of course, Matt, I've got a picture of his truck up. I'll bring it in just a second. But you guys just every weekend seem to be throwing something new on one of these Broncos to test out. What was it? The initial breaking of these things? You're like, you know what? Let's just keep throwing parts on these and see what happens.
No, well, some of that, yes. Otherwise, I mean, like I said, that's why I was going to get a base model to begin with, because I knew I was going to mod it. I knew I was going to mess around with it. I think this is my third lift kit that I have on mine now. And just, I enjoy working on them. And it's like,
I can't even get one lift kit on mine because I can't decide what I want, let alone the third one on there.
But yeah, and some, on the channel, I'll be transparent. Like I do get some people that send me parts and I'll be like, hey, so-and-so company send me this and I'm doing a review of it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like stuff, hey, this is what I want. I went out and bought it. And these are my issues that I'm having with it. Or I think it's awesome because things worked out great. And then Matt, like showing him his Bronco there, I think the first time he brought his Bronco over to my garage, he's like, it was after I did the Max Tire clearance kit online. He's like, hey, can you do that online? I'm like, sure, bring it by. I remember being nervous. I was like, I'm about to cut apart your Bronco. Are you sure you're okay with me doing this? He's like, yeah, go for it. Do what you got to do. I'm like, all right.
Wow. Of course, Matt's, I believe, is sitting on 40s here. Of course, it looks like he's got a bodyguard bumper, the rock step. What are they? Rock slide engineering.
Rock slide engineer.
Yeah. I remember you guys installed the diabolical security enclosure in the back of that thing at one point, and I think that's when I started paying really attention to what you guys were doing over there. And then it's like, yeah, I was like, every time I see your channel, it's what is Matt putting on his truck, basically. But Matt, I remember Matt texted me early on when he was like, yeah, I'm going to put whatever 37s on it. And then next thing I know, like, yeah, you guys are shoving 40s or whatever under this thing. But the cool thing about the Bronco is with the rounded wheel fenders, which I think sometimes are awful and sometimes are great. I'm back and forth on it. But when you put this big of a tire on there, man, like it looks like they belong on there.
Yeah, it fits that arch perfect.
Right. So what are some of the things that you've enjoyed about like the installation process? People sending you some parts. people think you just get free parts, and we've done a couple reviews, and I would tell you I work my ass off for those parts. Trust me, it's not free by any means. And then sometimes you watch the video, not get any views, and you're just like, oh, that's okay. but it looks like you're working your butt off for it. And I always tell people too, like, if somebody wants to partner up with us, I tell them, I'm like, it's an honest review, man. If your product's awful, I'm not going to be here and kiss your ass and be like, yeah, it's great.
That's the same disclaimer I do. Hey, can we send you this product? I'm like, yes. If you believe in your product and you want me to give an honest review, then sure, send it my way, and I will give you an honest review on it.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Like some of the Chinese companies, they don't care. They just send it parts. But some of the more reputable companies are like, maybe we'll not do that. Or that's been my experience.
Yeah.
So what's next thing I noticed you have, and this is going to lead into tonight's main topic, and I'm curious what you think about this. So you have the soft top on yours, correct?
I have the best top one. Yeah.
The best top. What is your, because I'm in the market for a new top, and I've been, like I said, this is kind of where I wanted to talk with everybody here, including Mark, because Mark switched to a soft top. We want a hard top for our Bronco, and I've been watching the two Anderson and Advanced, and neither one of them seem to actually can build these things. What is your impressions of the best top?
I love it. I've heard it is noisier than the hardtop. The light bar that is on Matt's Bronco was on my Bronco when I had the hardtop, and then I switched to put the best top on there. And I drove out to Pigeon Forge for a show, and ended up in the parking lot of the hotel taking that light bar off. Because with the best top and the light bar, it was just ridiculously loud. And I'm like, no, I'm not driving back home with that.
We drove from Nashville over there one time in Kelly's Nissan Xterra she had, and we put a light bar up there, and it was the whistling from the light bar or the whipping noises. And I was like, I literally got about 40 minutes away, and I was like, get the tools. We're taking this thing off. I'm done with that.
That's the one reason I won't do a light bar, is just because, like, the people who have put them on just say how much noisier they are. I'm like, I'm good.
But which is funny because Matt's like, hey, can I put this on mine? I'm like, sure. You're going to hate it though. It's like, I guarantee you're not going to keep it on there. And he drove off. He left my house. He driving about 15 minutes, and he rings me up, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to tell me that he hates it. He's like, there's no noise from this. Like, what?
Matt just listens to the radio that loud.
Yeah. He's like, he had a smaller rough country light on there. And he's like, it's no loud. He's like, it's the same. He's like, it's actually quieter than the bar I had on there before. Like, okay, well, I guess with the OEM soft tops, it works, but with the best top, it was just crazy loud. Well, aside from that, though, I like the best top.
It's my little worker bee. Hi, Kelly.
Hi,
I guess your volume's on. Probably I should turn the mic for you, but they're all giving me all kinds of shit that you weren't here.
Sorry, y'all.
In the chat, but so overall though, you like installation of the best top, everything seemed to be all right about it?
Yeah, the installation, it comes in a lot more pieces than you would expect it would.
Yeah.
So be prepared. It's going to take all day to do the install. There's you open it up, you're like, there's nowhere for all these pieces to go. But it's just like putting together a puzzle. Once you finally get once you get it started and figured out, you're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. And you start putting in the final pieces. But getting started, what is this? I don't understand it.
That's why I have Kelly when we do installations. Because I get frustrated and I don't, I'm a stupid guy. So most of the time you can kind of see how things go together. And no, if it wasn't for Kelly, like
follow the instructions.
It would look like a TP on the top of our Bronco somehow, or something.
That's the thing. Even so I have the Skyrider top on my Bronco from Best Top, And I was shocked so I was lucky. Best Stop installed it for me because I did test it for them. But I was shocked at the amount of pieces that even came in. And I'm like, it's only part of the top, not even the entire thing. And it was like a good 2-hour install. And that was the first one they installed too. So they were even learning. But
Check. Yep, I'm on.
Hold on.
you're having all sorts of issues.
Right.
Kelly, just take
He
his
knows
spot.
Kelly's going to badmouth them, so she doesn't. He doesn't want to turn it on.
He said it was unplugged. See how this works?
Jody,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Jody already called it.
Yep.
Yeah. Marital Nation 101. Keep the wife's microphone off.
Right. Keep me happy. Supposed to keep me happy, not keep the mic off.
Well, no, I was we're trying to
Excuses.
solve some issues here at our studio, and yeah, I forgot to. Dude, I'm shocking everything like crazy tonight.
Staticky.
I know, stupid winter coming. But would you recommend that top, Bill? If you had a factory, the factory top, which is great till it's not great. Let's just be honest. Till you start taking the side windows out a few times and stuff looks all peeled and worn already. Would you recommend that, or would you say for the $2,000 or whatever that costs? I would spend the extra money and get the hard top.
It really depends on what you're planning on doing. I love, if you have a soft top and you want to have a soft top, then yeah, that's a great alternative to the OEM one. So yeah, the OEM one, like it looks beat up pretty quick.
Yes.
And the desktop one, I've had it on and I've had it open, closed, and it still looks brand new, pretty much.
I like how tight it looks.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had that thing buried in mud a couple of times, and it comes clean, everything. It looks great still. So, I mean, I'm happy with it. The quality of it is great. So, yeah, definitely, if you're looking to replace it, keep a soft top, then that's a great alternative. If, however, you're looking for a hard top, you want a hard top, then just save and wait till you can get one.
Right. Mark, how's yours holding up? Mark, for everybody that doesn't know, Mark has a 2-door. So you went out of your way to get the soft top.
I did. I got tired of trying to take the hard top off by myself. Wanted to be able to fold everything back. Had a little soft top jealousy. So I picked up the 2-door. And Bill's right. Like, I opened the boxes, and I can only imagine how much more the 4-door has. But I opened up, and I was like, where does all of this go? But it was relatively easy to install. And I've loved it all summer. And I actually just transitioned back. If you look at any of the photos from Badlands, I'm back in the hardtop again. So I've now pulled that off and put the hardtop back on for the winter months. Talk to me at Supercell on how good it was that I've packaged away the soft top for the winter. Because I'm not sure that it's going to go on as easily.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. How easy was it to, once you remove it, to kind of store it?
I have was it Top Lift Pro hard top lift? So I left the hard top altogether and just hung it over that, and then took all the braces and boxed them up and put them away. So relatively not that hard. I could have attached a couple of ladder hooks to the basement wall and hung it on that. But because I had the top lift, I used that. And wasn't too hard to disassemble and take back off. And I think I'm sure I can break out an instruction book again or call Kelly to read one to me. So I can put it back on in the springtime. But
You should have just done a YouTube channel.
The best
you should have just done a video on it.
I should. I'm not that savvy. But
if it was,
I think No, I'm still fumbling my way through that. Like that's just a whole other crap show. But I think the best soft top wise compared to the hard top, Bill's right. It's much noisier. But I get whistles and wind noise through the hard top too at all the seams and stuff. So it's kind of a trade-off. I didn't think the soft top was terribly noisy. And I had some people tell me it was quieter than the factory soft top.
Interesting.
Well, I hate to say.
So
go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, yeah. And I know I've seen some of the issues you've had your factory soft top. I think the quality is definitely better. So unless you're really wanting to drop that money on a hard top, I think just upgrading to a better soft top, is a lot easier.
Well, so Kelly doesn't like the fastback look of the soft top. One thing.
I don't dislike it in total, but I don't like it on my vehicle. Let's be honest. That's
So
how I feel about
Kelly,
it.
you didn't like those headlights either.
Ooh.
Mark's getting side eye now.
Keep it up.
You're
Mark,
the
keep it up.
honorary husband, Mark.
Awkward.
No,
Got it.
See, I just like the squareness on our Bronco. I don't want the fast top or fastback on my Bronco.
Well, so which is why I've reached out to Advanced Fiberglass Concepts for about a year now. And I think out of all the hard tops that I've seen, they seem to put the best effort into it. And I happened to look, they actually launched this product the first week of November in 2022 for official pre-orders. And if you look on their website, it's still pre-order. And this is part of my issues was I thought, okay, the initial rush on these things should be over. And because I haven't really paid too much attention to this.
But do you think that they are still because when we did our Bronco rail with 67 designs, remember, it was like pre-order, but then a couple days later, they were like, hey, we actually can put your order in now. Do you think that that's how Advanced Fiberglass is doing it? That they can say pre-order, but really it's just we're not on pre-order. We just want you to know that there's a wait.
And why I say that is because I'll bring this up because they are taking so much heat now on the forums.
Matt Porter, armadillo, the elephant in the room.
No, we're not going to talk about
True story.
that awful thing.
Awkward.
But yeah, so now I was because I've been curious about it, and once again I haven't paid a ton of attention because I knew the money wouldn't be there till Christmas time for us anyways if we wanted to order one.
Right.
But dude, it's just nothing but just heat after heat on Bronco 6G of just people pissed and wanting their money back. And some of these people pre-ordered completely, they paid in total. So
That's tough.
now I'm assuming it's on a credit card. So, there's
Paying interest
5 to 20%.
where they paid it off.
Yeah. Interest. And to not get their product. And that's Bill. That's why I was curious about that top was because I know Jody has the Anderson top, which I think is a good top as well. But if you look at, let me bring this back.
Well, it's frustrating that their money is making money in somebody else's bank account.
And that's a comment. That's a big comment on the forums here. But let me bring this back up because I want to show you something that's very misleading. So
Ford's
estimated
not
ship
getting their
date.
tops out kind of makes them look good right now. So
Right. But estimated shipping time is 12 to 16 weeks.
Ooh,
No, but people have been waiting over a year.
Yeah.
So
I know.
It's said that for pretty much since they've had pre-orders available, it's had some time frame like that.
Yeah, because didn't we do a show on hard tops about a year ago at this
no,
time?
about 6 months ago. Every 6 months I try to look at these.
Okay.
But yeah.
But it wasn't like 7,000 at the time that we looked
well,
before.
you start looking at you getting options, you can get up there.
Okay.
At this point, I would just settle for a basic hard top on this because I do believe
I am not basic.
I believe their top looks good. And once again, I know Jody, and I'm gonna bring it up because Jody will kill me if I don't.
You think?
because he is a fan of the Anderson top. And since producer Kelly's not producing, I'll have to do this myself.
Whoa, sir.
But the Anderson,
You got the side eye from everybody in the guest panel tonight.
so the Anderson composites, which Jody has, and I've seen in person, there was just a couple little things that I could, if I want to be nitpicky about it, I could be nitpicky.
And you know,
But this is a Ford. It's a Ford design. It's the exact top. They licensed the top design from Ford. They're making it different. They're using a I think it's
so they got the
cord.
CAD files essentially, and they are modifying it with different
internals.
a little bit different.
The internals are, but you know, it's a little bit more expensive. But the problem with them is now they've had a run on these things, and I believe it was 28-week time.
Did you say 20 right there? Estimated
Yeah.
lead time 28 weeks.
28 weeks.
Holy crap!
For one of these tops.
That's
And
7 months.
so that's why I'm starting to think, oh, that best top's starting to look a lot better, because you know by summer that top's done. It's already broken. Pieces are coming
Matt
apart.
Porter says he has it's still in box, brand new soft top for sale. I mean, that's starting to look a lot better than a Paul says, my vehicle, does that mean Kelly makes the payments on her Bronco? Actually, I make sure all the payments are made. So technically, yes.
I haven't I couldn't tell you what payment I've, other than my business.
Other than his PayPal,
yeah,
that's the
stuff,
extent of the payments he makes.
Yeah.
And then he just buys stuff.
Pretty much.
So I make all the payments on everything.
Wow. We're going to get into Maryland Nation here in a little bit. But so
Paul started it.
I'm curious, out of Mark, you and Bill, what option would you look at here? If you soft tops, you have to go, okay, you're only going to get 3 to 4 years max probably out of a soft top. Hard top, you're probably going to get more, but it looks like 3 to 4 year wait to get a hard top. Where would you guys lean?
I really like the advanced fiberglass one.
Mhm.
I would love to see them start delivering those. I haven't placed an order for one because of all the issues they've had. Like I just got their fenders. Their fenders look great, and so I have a feeling that's part of their holdup, because their fenders, everything, most of the stuff that they deliver and they build is unfinished. It's unfinished fiberglass. This is a very big finished piece. I think they're running into issues with getting the finish perfect. Would be my guess.
They had a video on that too recently where they talk a little bit about the struggles they've had with getting the color just right. And but I'm with you. I probably would have ordered one of this last year had I felt confident, you know, they would actually build it. But what gave me confidence was those fenders. Those fenders come from them. They look great. I'm sure there's a little bit of massaging, but they seem to, everybody I've talked to seems to, they seem to work pretty well and easy to install.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's a company, they've been around for a long time. It's not like they just showed up when the Bronco was built and started creating stuff. They've been around making stuff for other vehicles for a long time. So I think they're going to eventually deliver. It's just how long do you want to wait?
Yeah.
And most people, of course, had I given them $6,000 2 years ago and still hadn't seen anything for it, I would have a completely different attitude.
Right.
And I understand why people in the forums are upset, but not having ordered one, I'm like, oh, well, I can just wait. And once they do start delivering them, I'll probably go ahead and order one.
Yeah, no, when I saw these images right here that Kelly's got up, I was a little skeptical right here, and I think I even talked about an early video I did on these. Was it just seemed too good to be true there, and these were models, and people were like, "Oh my God, you know, we live in this." I mentioned it a lot. We live in this Amazon culture where people think, "Oh, I can order it," and it just shows up. And like you were saying, I think they're slightly understaffed for how much business, like Bronco fenders alone have to be, like, you see everybody using them. Yeah. And I cannot imagine the complex to making these tops. But what really sold me on them was, you know, I think Jody said it in the chat earlier, was, you know, shipping. and the way they've designed this thing,
Mhm.
you assemble it, which was kind of a neat thing to me. Like this, there is no sides; it's all in a flat crate. Real easy to ship, should be cheaper to ship, and you assemble it when you get your house, which would be kind of nice. Versus, I think the Anderson one is just in a big container.
And having been the shipping department for our family for a long time, I can definitely attest to there are some challenges when it comes to shipping. So I can only imagine.
Yeah, and even just storing, because like I had a hard top originally, and I put the best top on there, and then I just had the hard top sitting in my garage. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to switch this back. It was a pain putting this on. It was enough of a pain putting this soft top on that it's not going to easily come off and back on each season. So I'm just going to leave this on, and I ended up selling my top. Because for storage. But if you had that flat one where you could take it apart and put it on a shelf somewhere out of the way, then that's a whole different story. Then it's like, okay, well, maybe I will keep that for seasonal, where I still have full use of my garage and everything else.
Yeah, Mark, where would you be on this situation? What would you advise us to do?
It comes down to what you personally want on the top. I mean, if you guys really want the hard top, I would say go for it. Although I don't see why Kelly wants the advanced. I mean, there's a slant to that back, Kelly. You don't want slant stuff on your Bronco. So, and I think that was one of the things David pointed out in an earlier video was the fact that back window in the advanced fiberglass is slanted.
Oh, it is.
But yeah.
But it's not as fast.
To Bill's point. See, now we're splitting hairs. But to Bill's point, storing my hardtop, it took up my garage. Like, there's no good place to put it. And of course, all two doors come in a hardtop. So I think the market for me to potentially sell my hardtop is a lot smaller.
Right.
And being it, an early model of the two door and the issues that in the sound and stuff like that those tops had. But on the flip side of that, one of the drawbacks to the best top is the fact that it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. When you fold that to the back, it sits on the upper rail. It does not completely go down. So,
I have to admit,
I mean, there are some trade-offs.
On our Bronco, like, I hate the look of it when we fold it all the way down, and then it just kills the visibility when we've collapsed it all the way back to the bottom.
Yeah, I really didn't like that about the best top when I first saw it. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to like that. But then after using it and putting it back, it's like it's completely out of view. I still have full view in my rear view. I'm like, actually, I kind of like it like this.
Well, Allie, what would you do since you have a hard?
9 times out of 10, flipping up to Safari. So,
See,
no, I'm just saying, like, you're not running the top back.
He loves Safari mode.
I think it looks cool. I don't know why.
That's why we took out the windows on the dusty trails, Kelly, because it looks cooler that way.
Oh, we're still getting that dirt out.
Oh, you
of
missed
the
that
Bronco.
conversation. We already had that conversation.
Oh, you missed that. And we were talking about the carpet in my wild track and the fact that I'm still digging that sand and stuff up from Windrock.
So glad we don't have carpet, Mark. So glad.
So, Allie, since you deal with
if they come out with the floors, I'm going to take mine out.
You totally should.
Allie, since you deal with vehicle financing, and if it's basically $2,000 to $6,000, what would you advise us to do?
I don't know. It really depends on how bad you want the hardtop. You guys have lived this long without one. It's not completely changing your life. It really comes down to cost and like what you want to spend, honestly. Because like I love the best top material. Like granted, I would pick the factory one all day long, but those aren't exactly cheap, even through quote. Oh, look who wants to play.
Oh, she's happy.
The other one says birthday.
Oh,
it says B-Day. But it really comes down to what you want to spend. I mean, honestly, you've lived this long without it. It's not like you wrecked your Bronco or wrecked your hardtop and you can't get another one type of a thing to where like you're switching over to a soft top, like because you have to. But I would honestly pick best tops. But I just like their material, honestly.
I do love the tweed. Yeah, the tweed material they use. Well, Kelly, let's do a poll here.
Maya, everybody. I'm feeling okay today.
I'll just do it. I'm going to do a runner poll here. I'm going to ask you guys hard top or soft top.
If he can spell it.
Don't everybody talk at once.
So,
We were waiting for you to finish your statement. I'm going to do a poll.
sorry, I'm waiting to see how much noise my dog's about to make. She can't find the squeaker. See, I don't know. Would you sell your soft top?
Us? If we could sell it,
What'd you do to it now?
it's
No,
been that way since
remember
Supercell.
Supercell, they started breaking?
The little
You
clips.
broke it?
The clips.
Yeah, Dave broke the clips.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Pulling it off how you're supposed to pull it off, though. I did it just
Josh
how they-
Hamilton told us he can. He's warranted like 3 or 4 of them. But we've heard mixed reviews on whether people could warranty them or not. So we haven't tried yet. But we have fabulous dealerships around us to take great care of us.
Yeah, I've warranted 2, but that's about it.
But I like the soft. I like our soft top because
we do like it more than we thought we would.
yeah, in Allie, no qualms at your best top. I think it's a cool idea for what you have. But we talked about this when I saw it when we came up there last year. I just feel like it's not as substantial as the stock one is. When you're flipping it back, the arches feel a little less stout than the stock one does. So that to me,
agree.
I wonder if in the long run, if they'll hold up from that perspective.
Bill has one. Bill, do you feel like the framing of it's just cheap or?
I know exactly what you mean. Like, yeah, with the stock one, you can open it with one hand from one side, and it's firm all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
The best top is a bit flimsy, where if you try picking it up from one side, the other side's going to kind of bind. So you got to pick it up through the middle.
Where's your toy?
I don't think that's necessarily cheapness. It's just the way, the design of it. And
and I didn't think it was a cheap thing. Notice he said it, not me. I just meant it feel like, and a lot of the times I'm putting it back one hand at a time or one person. So it would be awkward and it would get
the
twisted.
metal in the Ford's one is like more sturdy.
Yeah.
Versus the best tops one.
Well, so far the poll is almost unanimous. So you guys go ahead and vote for the poll. I have thought about, like I said earlier, I've reached out to the guys out in Vegas several times, and they keep going, oh, when we get our marketing, whatever we want to do, we definitely want to be on the show. And I'm not even
desktop.
No,
advanced fiberglass.
Advanced. And I'm not confident that they want to be on the show because they can't seem to get this particular product out. But I will say it's kind of ironic, though. I was watching their channel today, and they had our favorite Broncos, and all their favorite Broncos seem to have their hard tops on there. And I'm like, well, if you can get them to your
favorite Broncos,
your favorite people, shouldn't you start shipping these things out? And some of the stuff I was reading that they're on the forum was, oh, we're waiting on rubber gaskets or this and that. And which I understand, it's all injection molded the way they do that stuff. And it's probably coming from China, but it doesn't take 2 years to get that from concept to here.
It's a very slow boat.
Yes, very slow.
Looks like the dog has.
It's not like it's stuck out in the bay like they were a couple years ago.
Like
we're not in that world.
They're laying people off like crazy now, the shipping companies, because they don't need them anymore. 10,000, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyways, that's another channel. That's Financial Nation, but
not happening, by the way.
But Kelly, let's see what our poll. We have 20 votes, so I'd like to see. We got about 43 or 4 people in here right now. I'd like to see a few more votes in that. But it looks like a runaway. Where would you stand right now? Dollars to dollars. One's cheaper.
Well,
we can have it today.
I'm going to throw a wrench in your.
Oh, here we
thing.
go.
Have you seen the turn off-road top that's supposedly coming out?
The which one?
It looks a lot like the advanced fiberglass one.
What's the name of this company?
Turn off-road. It's in the Bronco
Turn
forum.
off-road.
There's a thread about it. It looks very similar to the advanced one. It's about $2,000 cheaper, and they're supposedly going to have them in December. So just to throw a wrench in your decision making.
Well, I see. I can pull it up.
I will say cheaper is not always better.
That's true.
I'm on their website now. I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing on their site yet for it.
Okay.
They just made an announcement in the Bronco 6G forum. They announced they were working on. They showed like prototype pictures like a day or two ago.
Can I see?
Yeah, have they shown pictures or anything of the design?
Yeah, they just did a couple of days ago. Like I said, it looks very similar to the advanced one. The finish is a bit different, but I'm assuming the core and stuff is going to be different too. So I don't know how it's built.
Yeah. So tell me about, do you know much about this company? Because I don't know anything about these guys.
I know very little about them as well. I know they've been around for a little bit. They've done some things, but I don't know a ton about them. I think they're like related or close to like the DB8 company, like offshoot of them somehow.
Well, fast back again, Kelly.
Ish. Ish.
Have y'all noticed though too that none of these guys want to do the dual tops like Ford keeps trying to do, and it's for wind noise. They don't want that
one more seal.
It's a clicking. The clicking, those two tops when you're flexing the body around, just click like crazy.
It's also the seal too because it makes that sound.
Yeah, that's not a bad top. There was another company that I reviewed one time, but they looked like
the rally top, or
yes, and it just looked like they were using generic parts to make a hard top. But that one's not too bad.
Yeah, the rally top. It's funny because I had a old Geo tracker that I beat up. I looked at the hard top the rally top had for that, and for $1,000 car, then that's awesome. But it looks like they built the same thing for a Bronco. I was like, well, no, that's a bit different of a audience. I think you need to beef up your design a bit.
Yeah, they emailed me after I did a small review on their product and thanked me for the review. And I asked them to come on the show, and they're like, "No, we don't think so." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." Now, this one, have they given a price point on these just yet, or
$44.99? I think they said.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to use it cardboard.
No, they're saying that ours has better resin penetration.
Yeah, that was when they first started. They cut apart the
Ford top.
Yeah, the Ford top to see what it was.
Somebody would have liked to have that Ford top. Jeez. Just kidding.
So yeah, I don't know much about the company, if they're actually going to deliver when they say they will, but we'll see.
Well, that doesn't actually look bad. And where would you be with that top?
I don't know. It depends on the price tag.
You're a tough cookie.
I am a tough cookie. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to what it's going to cost for the longevity of it too. I'm a tried and true kind of girl, and these are not tried and true to me. So I'd be afraid that I'd get a piece of crap one and it would fall apart or something, so there's that. And, I don't really like change. So I like our soft top the way that it is because I can stop at a light and pop my top back. And we talked about this with the Gladiator. Like with the Gladiator, it was nice to have the Freedom tops, but it was a little more challenging to take them off quickly. If you wanted to go, if you were going around town and the rain came or whatever, you have to pull over, get the tops, put them on. But with the soft top, like Sid and I went and got ice cream yesterday. We started at the house without the top on, so we did it back. We got almost to the ice cream place and we shut it because it was just too chilly. But I'd had to pull over, get the tops out, all of that. So for me, I like the convenience of the convertible soft top.
So what do you in that case? What do you do though? Because soft tops have a life expectancy. So
that wasn't part of the question.
No, but it is when you're dealing with $2,000 to $6,000. I mean, that's part.
The hard tops have longevity too. They're eventually going to wear out.
I don't. Maybe
you off-road them. There's only so much like.
Man,
but I also think that the soft tops. I think the soft top, the longevity can be depending on how you store it.
Yeah. I think it's if you like condition it, how you treat it.
Get to it. Go condition and treat my Bronco.
Right. If it's in the garage, if it's in the like I've got a carport, so like mine, if I'm not out driving, it's in the carport parked up.
Build me a carport.
You know, to try to help out with some of that stuff. So
Mark's not helping here.
Mark doesn't help on both sides of the fence there.
Man. Well, so we.
Dave can't reach the top of the soft top to condition it.
Hey.
So.
Oh.
Hey, see if I wash your truck.
Oh yeah.
Awkward.
So it looks like 75% or so say hard top. Okay.
Yep. 75% said hard top. 23% said soft top.
Math doesn't work.
Like
that does not work at all. I mean, it's 25 votes.
Yeah. Whatever. So we'll have to chat, table this discussion for another time. Unless Best Top or somebody wants to sling one our way. It looks like she's gonna fight me on that one. Well, Bill, I wanna say thank you for hopping on here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Guys, go over to Eville Truck. I'm gonna throw the old link out there so you can
it's right there.
So you guys can obviously go check his channel out. I'm assuming you know about it because if you need parts reviewed from somebody that's not going to BS you, I would put our name on it and say that's be the guy to go check out. So there is the link to that. But we greatly appreciate you being on tonight, Bill. And I didn't tell you this, but what's the speech?
I wasn't here earlier, so I didn't get to tell you. Unfortunately, Bill, there's no way.
There's no polite way.
There's no polite way to kick you off the channel other than just say, see you later. We don't have a green room to send you to. So we're so sorry, but we're so glad to have you.
If we don't get to wheel anytime before Supercell, we'll definitely hook up at Supercell and do
for
something.
sure.
5 months.
Oh, thanks, guys, for having me, and I will see you later.
Thanks,
later,
Bill. Have a good night.
See you,
There
Bill.
you guys go.
Bye, Bill.
That was the Eville Truck. It's even so rude when it's like kick guest.
I know.
Like even the software is rude. about
You can
that.
either ban or kick them.
Right. It's like F this guy.
It's like
Get
when I kick the vehicles to check to see if they have the hatch open.
Hatch open.
Yeah, like the back hatch. If I have the key fob in my pocket and I can kick it.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Kicking vehicles? I'll never get to review another vehicle again at that rate. Yeah.
You dropped a reel of me kicking it.
Not kicking it.
That's what your title was. Kelly kicks it. Or some crap like that.
I don't know. We took a lot of shit in that thing.
Did we?
Yeah, it's like, well, that's not new technology.
Oh,
It's like,
well,
who
yeah.
fucking cares, man? Jesus. So Mark, how are things? Good, I hope.
Things are great. Just wheeling through trying to figure out what the next mod is on the Bronco. The next thing I want to invest in. It's
Taillights?
a constant changing toy. No, you've got to catch up. I've already got the new taillights.
I'm good right now. Taillights.
But
we're not catching up right now.
So
Hold
we've
on.
talked about it. Mark talked.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. Mark talked me into to headlight. Well, not talked me in. You just showed me the way. And,
This is the way.
I showed.
And it was.
This is the way.
Never had any idea that I needed headlights on the Bronco, but they do look a lot better. I
And we
must say.
didn't need them.
I still need to slightly adjust them. So by the time we got to bat, let me tell you, with those things not being adjusted very well, and we drove to Indiana in the rain, by the time it got really dark, it got really sketchy. So definitely get your headlights adjusted.
I told him ahead of time because I had taken Sydney to town and we went one of the back ways, and it's like a switchbacky back way, and it was pitch dark when we went. Yes, switchbacky back way. And it was pitch dark when we went, and I put the brights on, and I felt like it was still dangerous for me to drive, but I still had to turn them off because, of course, when cars came, I could literally not see any more than like 5 feet in front of the truck. It was dangerous.
Well,
the nice thing is those lights are very easy to adjust.
He figured that out.
Yeah, me and Luke.
Yeah.
Luke's like, hey, no, he's like, hey, you want to adjust those real quick? And I was like, you're damn right, because I may have to go home in the dark. But no, they need to raise it up just about a foot more, I think, and they'll be perfect.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
We need to do that. But past that mark, being Instagram famous now for your AT-AT.
Right.
Your anything else? I mean, are obviously the day job is
still plugging away at the day job. Yeah, I gotta pay for the things. So still working. Still gotta figure out time to go out and wheel with people. And then like I said, it's just I got samples sent to me for seats. So I'm looking at
cat skin.
The wild truck. No, this is PRP.
Oh,
so,
sorry. That was good that was Mark. He's off the show.
See you,
now.
Mark. Thanks for joining.
No, I've seen their seats. They do look good.
And not as expensive as cat skin. But
yeah,
Wild Track comes with the cloth seats, and as much as I do like the cloth, I took my dog to the vet the other day, and it took me a long time to get all the hair vacuumed and cleaned out. And the dusty trails in Windrock, trying to clean everything up. I thought, invest a little money, throw some seat covers on. And the thing I like about them is I don't have to remove the covers like I do with cat skin. So little more flexibility, changing it back and forth, that sort of
just
thing.
going over it.
Yeah. You don't have to, for this particular brand, you don't have to actually remove it. It goes over the top. So
hi, Jess. Hi, Matt.
We'll
Thanks
see.
for joining.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, we've got to still get our cat skin installed, day in life. Oh my gosh, we were supposed to do them what? When were we supposed to do those, Allie?
For Supercell, what, a year ago?
No, well, yeah, but Motor City Bronco Fest.
That's what we were going to come up for in like April, March,
February. Wait,
something like that, and then we couldn't come up.
February.
Yeah, there was something we couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Day in the life, man. Day in the life.
What the hell are you doing?
Bye, Bird Dog. Thanks for joining.
Later, Jody.
Laura asked Mark,
looking at doing a full wrap.
Are those waterproof? His seats.
Yes, Laura, they are. It's a vinyl. I don't think it's quite as thick as the military grade, the marine grade vinyl that they put on from the factory, but they are waterproof.
I mean, Broncos are go over anything terrain mode. They're ready for anything.
Right.
Yeah, even 13-year-old girls that spill their hot fudge in the marine grade vinyl seats.
Oh. Yeah. Love it.
Ouch.
Yeah.
See, but that would not go over well on the cloth seats in the Wild Track. So
why do we don't have cloth seats? Because we have.
Well, because you have Dave.
Dog is also not allowed in the Bronco.
Come here.
And that's one of the things I run into with doing mods and stuff like that is the fact that that's my only vehicle. The Bronco's my daily driver. So when I put that spacer lift in, like if I didn't get that completed, like I was not going anywhere. I had no other vehicle to drive. So
Right.
I'm Uber.
He's not
right,
an Uber-ish town.
No, I live in the sticks. There is no Uber. There is no delivery. Like I can walk to the Dollar General for a couple miles if I have to. That's all I got out here.
You're ex-military. You marched at one time, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm not afraid of it. But
Doesn't
that's,
mean he wants to.
Right. But as I watch all these other builds and all this other stuff, I'm like, oh, I'd really like to do that. And like Bill said, I'm very hands-on. I like to do my own work. But I'm like, oh, if I get into this and I'm missing a tool or I don't have the right skill set to really accomplish it, I'm like, what am I getting myself into? Yeah. So as I'm looking at, potentially, I reached out to another company about a bumper that I liked, but you have to relocate their the adaptive cruise control sensor, which I'm not willing to do because our current bumper, integrates that, so I don't have to move it. It's all stuff, hey, great, this comes in, but do I have to take time off from work? What do I have to do for install? That sort of thing. So it's just me in a little hand tool garage. Like I don't have any lifts or anything special. So
yeah, no, I was talking to the bumper company the other day about a rear bumper, and it's like, please, no powder coat. But I'm looking at Hulu. But anyway, so, it wouldn't be a show if I didn't poke the bear, right?
One of the bears. Wow.
Well, we might as well get into this. So, as you see, Marital Nation there at the bottom. If Nurse AJ was in here, she'd be all about this.
Where?
But see right there.
Oh.
It
was like, what bottom?
So we've decided to do a separate channel now. We know we have the live channel, which these will go to it one of these days. But we've decided because you guys keep
being poked about Marital Nation.
Right. I was like, well, F it, man. We might as well just do a channel about that. And it's in our I'll post a link, but it's in our on our main page here.
Well, and what's cool about this channel is that we don't feel like we have to just totally stick to auto stuff. Like obviously we'll have like our travel to auto events and things like that in here, but we can also like, if we go on a vacation, we can like do content that isn't just.
Oh, I need to pull that up. So this we'll give you a little bit of
doing content 24/7.
Do what?
I said you'll be doing content 24/7.
This is not the Truman Show, ma'am. Which I've never seen that movie either, by the way.
Really?
How have you never seen the Truman Show?
Seriously, I feel like we're kind of living it lately.
Like, right?
I don't know about this woman, man. Like she hadn't seen. I got her to watch Gremlins the other day. She hadn't watched Gremlins.
What?
She had never.
Kelly.
I've seen it now. Carnival.
Damn it! I'm fat fingering buttons over here.
That's what she said. Sorry.
Marital Nation.
Sorry. It's this espresso martini I'm drinking.
That's what it is.
So I'm going to throw a link in here. This is for an old channel we did, or I did, but this will be something what it's like. And what's funny was in this video, I'll post this up here. I'd never been on a cruise before, Mark. No ever desire to go on a cruise.
We went December of 19.
Yep. This was right before
the world shut down.
Yep.
Yeah, before the vid happened. And so I had to prep by watching like what to expect. And every channel we saw was doing what, Kelly?
I've not seen Die Hard either, Laura.
Oh my God.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
What is the thing that every one of these things we saw when they were videoing themselves?
Time check.
Yes, and why it was that important for people to know?
Because it gives you an idea of how long it
time check.
takes to do things.
Because a little skinnier though.
17.
We both
And
were.
we're running late.
But
so we've gotten through security.
You don't run late for a cruise; they will leave you.
Checked.
Yeah, we weren't. We were just
12,
running late for our
25.
check-in
Right
time.
now
there
it
were
is
still
currently
multiple
12:34.
check-in times
So, and
after
our room's
us.
ready at 1:30, so
Right.
And
God, we were a lot skinnier.
We braved it.
thank God I'm
Let's get on
keto
and
again.
get some food. Time check, Kelly.
Time check. 12:38.
12:38, and we made
But we just this whole video is we just keep saying time check, like just acting
We're,
stupid.
quite surprised how quick.
But then I put the stupid
And we were
patch
stretching a little bit because we were
on
thought we
the
were
seasick
running late.
patch
Yeah, we
one,
thought
and
we
then
were
I
running
slept
late,
the whole
but
first
nope.
day.
And boats right
Yeah, why don't you
to
fast forward to
my
where
right.
you were sleeping?
Did you video me?
I
can't
sure
remember.
did.
And let's go have some fun. How long you get to drink
But we did find the bar.
21 minutes since we left downstairs.
Yeah, 21 minutes from time we got our to the boat till we had a drink in hand. Where?
Right there.
Yep. There's what those stupid things do to us. Anyways, this is the kind of stupidity if you care to see Kelly actually read me out for being stupid or
You can also have pizza delivered to at
that
least
you
have an
might see.
idea.
So we did
of where
that.
you
It
wanna
was a lot of
go.
fun. And
And we actually, that was one of the biggest, wasn't that like one of the biggest videos too?
yeah, for like it still gets views, but
Yeah.
why people were interested in a car channel.
The biggest like non-subscriber video attention. It was
So
funny.
anyways, if you guys are curious, Marital Nation, I'll put the link in there once again. But Nurse AJ was all about this, and you guys basically named the show because
Bronco 78 says, we all know Dave only wants to do this new channel so he has video proof.
oh yes, from Murder Central over here.
Paul says, Kelly, who is messier, Dave or Sydney? Depends on what it is.
We're getting into it.
Because Sydney has this tendency to like keep the mess in her room most of the time because she kind of lives in her room most of the
Yeah.
time between her bedroom and her bathroom.
You don't want to see the studio up here, basically right now.
But she also, when she comes out and like does like she either eats dinner or she like the last 2 days she's been making clay, like air dry clay stuff on the counter, and it's a disaster and she doesn't ever clean it. But then this one, he's mostly clean, but like prime example, we had eggs yesterday.
Here it goes.
And since I've been off work, I got some of the cabinets organized, and I have all of his hot sauces in the beginning of this like little container I have, and in the very back is the ketchup. He looks in the cabinet, he goes, "Where's the ketchup?" And I said, "It's in the back behind your hot sauce." Hot sauce. So he gets it out, puts it on his eggs, puts it back in the cabinet, up a shelf and over half of the shelf. And I'm like, dude. And he leaves the cabinet open. Mind you. So it's little shit like that he does all around the house. Or I find socks.
They
Like-
say creative people are messy.
He'll take his socks off upstairs and then he'll have 6 pair of socks here on the floor. So like, I don't really know which one's messier. Don't really know. So that you'll have to tune into Marital Nation to find out more about that, I guess.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
There's your first ad.
that's the kind of fun, I guess, if it's, you like to watch people.
Laura says the frunk Dave will still hide you in the frunk.
Damn it, woman! Not killing me. It's notice my name's before hers. It can't be dead Dave and Kelly.
We can change it to the Kelly, Allie, and David show.
It's just easy to take Dave off the front.
Damn.
Oh, or off the back. No, see, it's Marital Nation.
Well, I know the name of it, but anyway, so we got some friends that kind of want to join along in this, I think, a little bit, and
They've been friends since he was in kindergarten. He
Yes.
was in like 3rd grade.
and there was talk of a live stream mom's show, which no telling what those two would get it. It's Kelly and Kelly.
Yeah,
So I think we've called the show the Kellys.
we drink and have fun.
Yeah. But anyways, that would be I definitely would not be on that show because it would just be trashing me the whole time.
There'll be a lot
You
of.
don't have to be there for them to trash you.
It's true. There's a lot more. There'll be a lot more of like the travel stuff because we don't want to
I can't wait for Supercell this year when we're all together.
Hey, by the way, Mark, check your text messages.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, damn it, Mark.
Keep texting Alan
My
to
text
try to
messages.
get our cabins. Alan to get our cabin.
Oh.
I
situation.
texted you earlier this week or this weekend or something. I don't know, one of the two.
I texted you back.
No, you did not.
I'm looking at it,
Probably
woman.
check your phone.
See, Mark, see what she does? This is yeah.
Nope.
Look, sketchy hotel picture.
Yep.
Can you send it to me on Facebook or something then? Because I didn't get your text message.
I'm glad we can have this over
Okay.
a live stream. We can have these conversations where everybody goes, what the fuck are people talking about? I thought this was a car channel. Not look at my text message.
Sorry.
I mean, technically, it's about Supercell, which is 5 months,
Right.
5 months, 5 months.
And speaking of Supercell, folks, if you have not booked your hotel / cabin / whatever it
I
is
know
you're
Allie-
staying in,
Allie was really preaching that to people.
you better get on it.
162 days.
Hey, I booked mine yesterday.
You staying in your same spot?
Yeah,
We won't be able to stay there. It's not big enough.
I know.
We're a big deal. We've got upwards of 3 YouTube channels. That's a lot of ego.
Well, I've got my dog, my mom, and myself, and 1 YouTube channel and an Instagram.
Speaking of which, have you done
What?
anything on your YouTube channel lately?
I've barely fixed my house.
You should do some Maya content on your channel.
It's just gonna make me sad.
Not when you see her exciting times on
That's
YouTube.
true. We're having more good days than bad days right now, so I'm
That's
gonna take
good.
That is good. The boys take a day trip to the local hog farm.
No, I'm not.
Jesus.
I'm not really gonna.
You know, this channel started out with just me, and I didn't feel a lot of love, but I didn't feel any like, hey, he could disappear at any moment kind of vibes. And then suddenly,
And now I have a whole community to help me.
I know that's a little scary. Not gonna lie. Anyway, so next
I'm just worried if we're gonna start drinking at 9:30 in the morning again at Supercell. Like, I gotta gear myself up for that.
Honest will be there. He's already told me he's coming. So
I know that's that's what I'm worried about.
Here's what's funny about that. So my new job that I have, I was literally, so I had to go into the office this last week to just kind of meet my boss in person and stuff. And they took me out to lunch and they were like, oh, and by the way, the leadership conference or our staff conference is April 21st and 22nd. I immediately went, shit. And then I looked at the calendar. So it's literally the Monday and Tuesday after
Get back.
Supercell. So I'm going to be so freaking hungover going to said leadership conference. So
see, Curtis knows what's up. He's taking his custom built camper that matches his Bronco to Supercell.
nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have thought about renting a trailer to pull along, more of a display with the Bronco, but it's
We
anyways.
have a camper. We have a trailer.
We have a camper?
We have a trailer.
Oh, that's right. Well,
Oh, that's right.
The Mustang can pull something.
No.
Pull them G's when you take off in it. Mark, by the way, of course, Mark's got to drive the Mustang, and yeah, Mark, I was not kind to that car last weekend. Ford's not listening, by the way, but yeah, any warranty work that it might need. No, I'm playing. Dude, that car, dude, it's got all these launch buttons now, and all this little 0 to 60, 0 to 30s, and you're like, I have to do it. It's there. I'm sorry, there's people in the road. It's a Mustang. It has to feed. And yeah.
It has to feed.
Well, yeah, they desire blood from time to time. Have you not ever seen a car show video with a Mustang going through a crowd?
Oh, Lord.
No.
Anyways, 106 was a little straight wave. It was a lot of fun. All right, so last final thing, I want to throw our Patreon out there because you guys have always been kind to us, and so here's our Patreon link. And if we could get 3 members, we have actually 8 Patreons on there right now, including Mark, which we appreciate. But if I could get 3 Patreons, we will include some special stuff. And if you do join, be sure to give us your shirt size. But I would like to hit the 10 Patreon mark. So I always feel like you're begging for money. I hate to do that, but the support does mean that this guy can, bring the wife along on these business trips and stuff like that. So really, you should be selling this. That's what I'm saying. Patreon.
I wrote one, I recall.
She did, and I had to post it because she wouldn't post it. She was like, "It's not good enough."
Lord. Laura said Mustang Nation.
No, I'm sorry.
Can't do it.
I'm nationed out.
That is true. We are kind of nationed out.
That's right.
There was Nissan Nation. Now there's All-Terrain Nation.
It started with Xterra Nation.
That's right. And then there was Frontier Nation.
Then Overland
Nation. And then there was Nissan Nation. And then Nissan Nation Productions. And then All-Terrain Nation.
Which is funny. So when I started,
and now Marital Nation.
When I started this channel, because I've said the story many times, Nissan pissed me off, and I've told the person that
no.
Well, they set me right, and they basically said, "Hey, we have your audience. You're not giving us anything." So they gave me a goal. And yeah, so when I did this, a guy that has he had a GTR in town, a real GTR, not what Nissan calls a GTR now, but he was like, because I was thinking Truck Life podcast, something like that, and he goes, "Dude, why don't you just do All-Terrain Nation?" He goes, "It opens your doors up for everything." And I was like, "Motherfucker!" Like, even Luke came up with the Nation part on Xterra Nation. That was Luke's deal. He's like, "Everybody's calling everything Nation now. Just do that."
So you thieved all these ideas.
Oh, they give them to me.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
Mobile says Trial Separation Nation.
Divorce Nation.
Someday.
See, what I'm doing is, in case we divorce, I'm doing Marital Nation, and Kelly could have that channel, which would probably be way more popular. And then I get this one back.
Wow, you're preparing for divorce?
No, but you always. I was a Boy Scout. You gotta be prepared.
Oh my
Says
god.
the one that says, "Let's just go. We can buy it at Walmart if we forget something."
So we got to end on this because this is
I'm drinking espresso martini, but off the rocks, made in a bottle. If anybody's interested, it's delicious.
All right, so I gotta find this because this is what kind of inspired us to get our ass in gear for the
oh God.
If it'll play the sound.
I don't even
Have
know
you ever
what
noticed, like, sometimes that
Here it is.
all right, I gotta somehow figure out how to start this over. All right. So this is what kind of kicked us in gear of doing
Also
this,
share tab audio is on. Okay, cool.
because I posted this and it's meeting the work wife. And this was the most hilarious thing I've seen in a long time.
He sent it to me and I laughed out loud.
It's my work wife.
Oh, the infamous work wife.
Hang on, I'll introduce you.
Oh my god, I've seen this.
I'm going to introduce you to Ellie.
Oh my god, Ellie. Hi, so nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
too. It's nice to put a face to the name.
Where's my proper good morning?
Oh.
What are you doing?
What?
Why did you kiss her?
Because she's my work wife.
I'm your wife?
Are you okay, Ellie?
Nah, not really. You're kissing my husband.
He's my husband too. He's my work husband.
That's not a real thing.
Well, our work marriage license would say different.
You got married?
Yes, I told you that.
No,
Just
you
gonna say
didn't. How is
wait
it even
for it.
legal?
We just came back from a honeymoon.
What are you talking about?
I told you. I said we went on a honeymoon to Fiji.
I thought that was a continuation of the joke.
I have been nothing but transparent with you, and now I feel like you're making me out to be the bad guy.
Transparent is not the word I'd use, Rowan.
I even told you well in advance when we took out our work mortgage.
Wait, no, so you own property together? Like, I mean, what else am I missing?
Hey, son.
Son?
Yeah, it's our work son. Oh, it's my work wife.
Oh,
Yeah. Funny thing is, so he sent it to me and he goes, And I said, no, sir. Like, Ellie has it right. Like, that's where I draw the line. No honeymoons, no anything. He's like, well, you had a work husband. And I said, but when he caught feels, guess what? I shut it down. So no.
I'd never heard of such a thing till Verizon. You were like, yeah, you know, this is my work husband. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then that was like 10 years ago. But and then this popped up, and I was like, and then so I posted that, and then suddenly Nurse AJ
was like, Marriage Nation.
I was like, fuck, there's the name of that one. Like, and you guys basically named it with Marital Nation. But so yeah, go over there if you don't mind, subscribe if you want the stupid zoo life that we have. Next week we will do a intro. I think what we'll do is kind of a how did we meet? You know, that whole story more properly than just me drinking whiskey and trying to well, no, I'll be drinking whiskey. But
I was gonna say you'll still be drinking whiskey.
anyways, but yeah, you can expect that kind of zooish fun, and we appreciate it. So,
And those that know us in person know that this is absolutely who we are. Like, we're no different.
100%.
Yep.
Just what you can expect.
Well, Mark's been around us enough, he knows.
Yeah.
And I should have filmed us buying those lights, though. Well, I did film us, but me going to you at Alan's booth. No, but going to Alan's booth. Did I film that too? I don't remember.
No, you didn't film that.
No, you drug me over to the booth and then went, now you have to convince Kelly. We drug her back. And she sat there, now tell me, why do I need these lights?
Yeah. She goes, what's wrong with the lights we have?
Welcome in, YouTube Car Spotters Guide. We're actually just wrapping up.
Yeah. But we appreciate you joining in.
Yes.
Kelly, any auto things you needed to? How's the Bronco? Everything all right?
Bronco's good. Mustang has a rear view mirror blockage warning. Some sort popping up on it.
Oh, what?
It's gonna be Toyota Nation real quick.
Yeah, it's let me pull it up. I'll actually read it to you, Allie. It is.
It's been one
sensor after another.
Yeah. It's an early production. We expect these things. Because I've had people going in some of the videos I've done, they've been like, well, I mean, you're bitching about this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you not get I'm an auto journalist? I have to report on these things. You want me to just give you the gravy of like, oh, it's so much fun.
Let's see.
No, that's just what they expect.
Did it not pop in here? It gave me an alert.
Yeah, I've seen that alert.
Oh, here it is. Pre-collision assist not available, which is normal. The rear view mirror mounted camera has detected an obstruction or blockage, which is a new error. For
that's a way of calling me ugly, basically. Thanks, car.
Yeah.
Now I gotta deal with this bullshit of you might want to lose some weight, Dave. It's on some car. Fuck you. What are you talking about?
Wow, dropping F-bombs.
I know,
We haven't even named the car yet.
Yeah, we have Jackie Daytona. The car is Jackie Daytona. Yeah, it's my car. My car.
Really?
Yep. I lost the Bronco. I gained a car. Who drives it more?
God.
You do, because I'm afraid to get it dirty.
I'll get that car all dirty. So whether it be two-wheel drive,
four-wheel drive.
I don't know anymore. Mark, thanks for being on.
Lord
tonight,
help us.
Yes.
We
Always
greatly
fun.
appreciate you. This has been your All-Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Wood, and we're out. Peace, everybody.
See ya.
Peace.